god. Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we need to talk about Blackwings. They should, maybe, are getting support down the line here. There's a bunch of reasons why I think so. First and foremost, the next core set for the OCG after Power of the Elements, that's 3 sets from us right now, is called Darkwing Blast. That is about as clear as, oh, hey, there's Blackwing support coming, as I think it'll ever get without actually telling us. There's still a small chance that it doesn't end up in there, but I do think there's really a good chance. If you look at the core sets recently and the naming scheme, it all makes sense. Like popular characters getting their archetypes with legacy support and being the cover cards for the set. If you look at the one we like, Power of the Elements, Elemental Hero support, Power of the Elements. So the name is like directly correlated to Elemental Heroes, and it's a popular character getting legacy support. Before that, Dimension Force. The name makes sense with Pendulum. So Performer Pals and Odd Eyes end up getting support. Before that, is the Battle of Chaos. So Battle of Chaos, you kind of get some Chaos support. Some of Yugi stuff ends up in there as Chaos support. Blue Eyes are in there as well. They've been doing this thing, and even before that, Burst of Destiny Hero support, and it's the cover card. So that's kind of all I need to say. I really think there's a high chance it ends up in there. Darkwing Blast, some people were like, Darkwing Blast could just be Raid Raptors. Like, we got Raid Raptors in Phantom Rage like a year and a half ago. No, I guess it's probably longer than a year and a half ago now. It's probably more like almost 2.5 years. But still, the last time we got Blackwing support was like 4 to 5 years ago now. So still, that's winning out in my eyes. So yeah, long story short, I just think we're very likely to get Blackwing support. So in this video, we're going to be shooting through a bunch of the cards Blackwings already have and have access to, and some of the stuff that they might work with, to just keep in mind where they're currently at. And then at the end, we'll talk about what I think they need, what I think is missing for them overall. All right, so let's get into this, starting off with their monsters. This is one of the newest cards, and this is probably, to me, the single best card in the entire archetype. If you have no monsters and you have this card in your hand, you can banish another Blackwing. That's the only downside of him, literally at all, is that you have to open him with another Blackwing, and you have to have no monsters on the field. He summons himself by placing Black Whirlwind and then normal summoning himself. So he triggers Black Whirlwind. He doesn't take your normal summon because it's by effect. The only other downside to him is he locks you into darks, but if we get good Blackwing support, like maybe a good boss monster that's actually good interruption, maybe that's even less of a deal than it already is. You can still get really strong boards with just dark monsters. So one of the best cards in the deck for sure. Then you have a bunch of the extender guys. They all just say if you control a Blackwing, summon them from the hand. This tends to be one of the problems though, because the deck becomes very normal summon reliant. If your opponent just removes your normal summon, it kills stuff like Bora, Chris the Crack of Dawn, Gale the Whirlwind, Harmatan the Dust, and Orochi the Squall. They all just cannot extend from the hand anymore, and those are your best extenders in the deck, so that's definitely something I'd want to see. Gladius kind of fits that mold as well. Gust is a way to actually play around that. He says if you control no cards, you can just summon him from the hand for free. So, Cyber Dragon kind of effect to help you get extenders, just bodies on the field. Breeze the Zephyr, if this card's added from deck to hand by card effect, they can summon itself immediately. Not too shabby. Definitely like an interesting little extender. Then you get to some of the normal summon ones. Auster, when it's normal summon, can special a banished Blackwing. It's part of the line that goes through Simoon, which is cool. But like outside of that, it's not always going to be live. It can be a little awkward in hands. Same thing with Blizzard the Far North. When it's normal summon, it can reborn a level 4 or lower Blackwing engrave. But again, a lot of times, unless you're opening exactly Simoon, a lot of times these cards, you're going to have to normal summon before like going into plays. And these cards, once you already have something banished or engrave, when they're getting normal summoned, which kind of makes them clunky turn 1. Zephyros is phenomenal in the deck. If he's just engraved, he can return a face-up card you control to the hand to summon himself, and then you take 400. Just a phenomenal extender, even if that's only once per duel. We'll get to something later that also makes this card like insane. Such a crucial card, probably an insane one of in every build, at least. Vayu is an interesting card. It kind of lets you synchro summon from grave, but you can only synchro summon a Blackwing synchro, and its effects are negated permanently. So it is an extension, right? If you just fill it in grave with another like Blackwing monster, you just get fodder on the field to synchro summon, to link summon, whatever. But it's definitely something to keep in mind. Pinaki kind of has like a Scarm effect to search a Blackwing monster on the end phase. Depending on the kind of support we get, could be something interesting. Kalut, this card at one point in Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like one of the best cards in the game. It's kind of just like an honest, but an archetype specific one and searchable off of Black Whirlwind, so used to be insane. Black Whirlwind. Speaking of which, if it's on the field and you normal summon a Blackwing, you can add a Blackwing monster with an attack less than the monster you normal summoned. This card is insane. It's not once per turn, so seeing multiple is crazy as long as you have a good enough, like a high attack enough normal summon. This card's actually crazy. Like opening this card, Simoon, and any other Blackwing in hand is like a pretty wild combo. So definitely something to keep in mind here. This card will still probably be a 3 of staple even after the new support. Raptor's Wing Strike, interesting card. Shuffles a Blackwing you control into the main deck to add a Blackwing monster from your deck. This could be interesting because like you could normal a Blackwing or summon something like what was the other one? What's this one? Gust the Back Blast. Whoops. And then shuffle Gust to search Simoon. And if you had another Blackwing in hand, it kind of just lets you get to the Simoon combo. Not the most ideal way of searching, but it is a searcher nonetheless. Blackbird Close. So one other thing you'll see is with the spells and traps, almost none of them have Blackwing in the card text for the name. In the text, it'll have it. So if we get a searcher, hopefully we might get a searcher that says like search one spell or trap that has Blackwing in its card text. That might work. Close is the best thing we have to like an actual interruption. If your opponent activates a monster effect that they control, you can send a Blackwing monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, destroy it. Then you can special summon a Blackwing dragon from your extra deck. And if you have a Blackwing Sinker, you can actually activate this from the hand. Pretty strong card, but again, it does not have Blackwing in the name, so we kind of need a card that can search Blackwing cards that have it in its text. Then this card would actually be like potentially a one-off that like lets you end on a nice, stronger board. And then you get to a bunch of the extra deck stuff. Onimaru, this card's kind of just a big card that can't be destroyed by card effects. Chidori just gets huge. It gains 300 for every Blackwing in the graveyard. Doesn't even say different names. So if you do a full combo, you could easily have 5 to 7. So this card could be absolutely ginormous. Raikiri can, let's see, once per turn, target cards your opponent controls up the number of Blackwings you control and destroy them. So it's a pop 1 every turn, if not more. This card I could actually see this one really coming up in a build for sure. So Haya, pretty cool like Synchro Climb card because during your main phase, if this card's in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can banish a different Assault Blackwing, Sahaya the Storm from your graveyard, or special summon it. So like if you could go through a line that uses both of these, you could summon one of them back by banishing the other. That could actually be cool to like help Synchro Climb. Nothung the Starlight. This card, 1, burns your opponent for 800, so in time that's cool. And gives you an additional normal summon. That's actually pretty sweet. An Assault, Full Armor Master, I mean. This card is the boss monster for the archetype at this point in time. It's essentially a tower, it's just straight up unaffected by other cards' effects. And it can kind of just snatch steal once per turn. Because ideally you're going through Auster in a line that gets to him. There's like, if you see the Simoon play, you're going through Auster and it's going to let you get to this guy. And when you do, Auster can banish itself to place wedge counters on monsters your opponent controls. And this guy can just steal any monster that has a wedge counter, essentially. And I think it steals it permanently. Yeah, I think that's pretty much permanently. So really house of a card, but it's only 3,000, even if it is a tower. So it's not like adding Nisters. You're not summoning a 6,000 towers. That's way harder to out. You have to summon this guy, and he's only 3,000. So there are definitely cards that can crash him, beat over him, whatever. But he is still a powerful card, and you'll still probably see play in a build no matter what. Obsidian Hawk Joe's the last like Blackwing card here. He has the ability to target a level 5 or higher wing beast monster engrave and special summon it. That's pretty sweet, but he is pretty type locked. He needs a Blackwing tuner and Blackwing non-tuner. So, but he's a good extender. He really, really is. And he can like protect himself from targeting pretty much, but it's I don't know. He's mainly just a pretty cool extender overall. And then we get to the stuff that like works with this deck pretty freaking well at this point, so it's definitely something to keep in mind. Ystrix is by far and away the #1 thing. It takes any 2 Darkwing beasts. This is one of the best decks aside from Raid Raptors that actually can facilitate that condition. And I think it's like if you open a way to make Ystrix with any level 4 Dark Extender, you actually can go like so far with a play and actually end on 5-ish interruptions. It's really strong. So this card can just like kind of summon Zephyros straight out of the deck, and then once you link off with Zephyros can just come back by like bouncing a face-up card you control. So you just get a ton of value off this card, and it searches a rank-up magic spell, which we'll get into with these. Soul Shave Force. This card is used if you're not locked into like darks with Simum's effect. It can reborn any Raid Raptor Exceed, like the rank 4 that searches any. I think it searches a Raid Raptor monster. And then overlays a monster that's exactly 2 ranks higher than that monster. So you can just plop a VFD if you're not locked into darks on top of that. You also have rank up Magic Force for Phantom Knights. This could potentially get into you the one that has like multiple monster negates, or whatever other Phantom Knights, Raid Raptor, or XZ Dragon card that is like your favorite one to go into. It's a pretty powerful card. Next up, you have Phantom Knights, Rusty Bardiche. I mean, this is the other package that seems to be really good. One, this has great synergy, of course, with the Raid Raptor stuff. They got like conjoined support that 2.5 years ago. And this guy takes darks. Again, if you just have enough extenders to climb up into him, you get insane value just off of resolving Rusty. So really, really good. And then a couple of generic extenders. This is a newer card since things. So this card says if you during your main phase, if you normal or special summon a winged beast, he can just jump out of the hand. And when he does, he can search a Simorg, or you can send a Simorg monster to add a Simorg spell or trap. So it can just be a raw +1 as an extender. Definitely an interesting card. It really depends, though, if we can really make the Simorg stuff worth, because we do not have the Simorg link anymore. It's definitely something to keep in mind, but could have been a part of this deck for sure. Calico Claw Crow. If you control a dark monster, summon it. This whole deck is dark, so pretty decent extender. And it's a darkwing beast that just gets you into the Y-Strix. And then I think that's it. I think that's mainly it for like the most important stuff here. There's a bunch of extenders, by the way, for like the Raid Raptor stuff that actually still kind of work. If you just, I think some of them say like if you control a dark monster, summon them from hand, and they're level 4, monsters that help you kind of get into, these same plays, which is really good. But it's not enough. It feels like, one, if you're going to play all of these engines, there's a lot of bricks entailed with it. If you play the Raid Raptor stuff, you probably have to play one of the Laniuses. It's like pretty much a brick if you draw it, if you can't get to this stuff. 2, the Phantom Knights. Just to play the Phantom Knight engine, you probably have to play Fog Blades, which to draw are not the worst thing in the world, but like if you're drawing Silent Boots or Cloak and you're playing both of those, they are not ideal to draw because you still need to have names in deck to be able to send off of Rusty to get that value. So definitely important to note there. But yeah, the deck's in a weird spot. But the time where Blackwings existed in the game was not a time, well, like when they were good, was not a time when interruption was really a big thing as far as your deck, your engine actually setting up interruption. And so it's never been their forte. And now that we're looking at it, it's like the deck is extremely weak to getting its normal summon popped, aside from hands where you expect like specifically open a Simum line there. And if not, like, it can be really brutal. Like literally ending on just Dryden can like lose you the game because they just you go normal summon a Blackwing, they go pop it. Even if you have Black Whirlwind, it doesn't work because I think it's a when effect, so it even misses timing if the monster summoned leaves the field before resolution, because Whirlwind needs to check the attack stat of the monster through resolution. So if it's not on the field through resolution, you miss searches there. So there's some weird things there. They definitely need monsters that actually can like be potentially a 1-card combo, even if it's nothing crazy, even if it's like a really simple 1-card combo. Like, I don't want to be like basic, but like if they got a Stratos-esque monster, like normal summon, search an extender, specialty extender immediately, like that could be pretty interesting because it'd be 1-card Y-Strix, and then from there you'd only need 1 extender to get you going. They don't really have 1-card plays into Y-Strix. They need 2 cards to get into Y-Strix, and then they still need an extender to actually do the full combo with Y-Strix. So they definitely need some stuff there. Y-Strix is a huge help, though. This card is the single, like, potentially most important card for the deck right now. It's essentially their Halki Fibrax, pretty much. And the other thing would be like actual interruptions. I don't care whether it's a card that lets them search, like cards that list Blackwings in their text, right? So that you can search stuff like Blackbird Close, which is a decent, like, searchable-esque Solemn Strike-ish card. I don't care if and maybe they get another one or whatever. I don't care if they give them 1 or 2 new synchros, and one of them is like a negate or an interruption, a quick removal, whatever. There needs to be something. There has to be some form of interruption within the Blackwing stuff. And maybe this deck's just supposed to be a hard going second deck, but some of the cards don't make sense with that. Like the Towers guy doesn't make sense for a going second strategy. Cards like Close don't make sense for a going second strategy. And the fact that the deck's so normal summon dependent with like a bunch of extenders that just die if the normal summon gets removed also makes it like not make a ton of sense as a hard going second strategy. So those are the bigger things for me. I'd focus on like an actual interruption we don't mind getting to. Maybe another card or two that kind of feels similar to Simoom. Maybe not as powerful because Simoom's like kind of crazy. But like in that similar vein of like a card that is a play pretty much itself with any other card, any other Blackwing card, and like doesn't lose to getting the normal summon removed. That would be the ideal scenario, I think, for Blackwings. But yeah, it's a cool deck. It has access to a lot of things. I've already theorized potentially just making like a Winged Beast amalgamation deck that just plays a bunch of good Winged Beast cards. But then some more got banned, and I was like, dang, I'm not sure if this deck's really doing enough now. But who knows? Maybe depending on how the Blackwing support goes, maybe it'll be something I look into again, especially Darkwing Beast stuff with Y-Strix could be pretty cool. But there you go. Those are my thoughts all in all about Blackwings. They're really cool. I've always been a fan of Blackwings. Hopefully Konami comes through. Keep in mind though, even going back to like Burst of Destiny, that set literally had like 3 Destiny Hero cards. Is that right? I think they literally had like Denier, DPE, and a trap card. They might have had a spell in there that was like a weird spell that didn't really make any sense. I think they might have only had 3 cards. So it's possible that it ends up being a cover card or whatever, but it only ends up being like 3 cards of support. That being said, if it's something DPE-esque in terms of power, like that'll do, Donkey. That'll do. But yeah, hoping for the best. Fan of Blackwings. That's all I gotta say. Hopefully they come through. I'm not a huge combo player, which will probably be the route that the deck has to play, but it is what it is, you know. But yeah, I'm going to get the hell out of here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and you want to see more discussions kind of like this. And let me know your thoughts down below. I want to hear what you guys think. I haven't played a ton of Blackwings, but like I played them when I was younger and I loved them. And then once I realized they're like just not that great, I kind of hopped off them for a while. But if you are a little more in tune with the deck right now, please fill me in on like some other stuff that you really think specifically that would take this deck to a better place. Because I'd love to hear somebody who's like currently playing the deck and their point of view. That would definitely be really, really sweet. But I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.